pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Next item is roll call.
Ron Ritchie,
Here.
Jason Borsheim,
Here.
Sam Morocco,
Here.
Bill Scarborough,
Here.
David Lomar,
Here.
Belinda Billings here, Joe Suture.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Next item is review of the agenda. Anybody have any changes?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Support.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Public comment for items not on the agenda. I assume these two gentlemen don't have anything to say. There's a few people online. Just for, in case they want to say anything, this is for items that are not on the agenda. You will have the opportunity to comment on specific agenda items as we get to those. So is there anybody online that would like to comment on items not on the agenda? Okay. Mr. Morocco.
I just want to remind them, thank you, Bill. I want to remind the people about the traveling Revolutionary War traveling exhibit at the library. I think it's here till Saturday, put on by the DAR. Really, really interesting stuff, and it's kicking off the, America 250. So if you get a chance, we're taking the kids over there, and there's interaction and, touchscreens and stuff, so, it's pretty interesting, so. I think it's here till Saturday.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say? I guess I didn't formally open the meeting, but I will formally close the public comment section for items not on the agenda. Next is public hearing. We have none, so we'll move on to item G, election of the officers.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would like to put into the nomination a stranger to us all, Bill Scarborough, to continue on with the work that we have been doing for the last year.
Thank you. I'm willing to do that. I've enjoyed it. I think I'm doing a decent job, so I hope you'll support that.
I'll support. But don't we need
I
a
forgot
roll
you
call?
needed support.
Yeah.
Well, I think you gotta ask
What
for
are we
any
waiting
more
for?
nominees, just
What are we
to
waiting
make sure
for?
there isn't any more.
Are there any more nominees?
They couldn't remember to support it, so probably not.
I move to close the nominations.
Okay, I guess probably should take a roll call on that one.
Ron Ritchie,
Yes.
Jason Borsheim,
Yes?
Bill Scarborough,
Yes?
David Lomar,
Yes.
Sam Morocco,
Yes.
Joe
If we're running
Suture,
Yes.
unopposed.
Belinda Billings, yes.
Okay, next for secretary. Belinda, are you willing to continue to do it?
I don't know that I'm gonna be here, so we need to nominate someone else.
Okay.
That's pretty dark.
You could, I mean, depending on actions that happen, yeah. If you weren't, then we'd have to appoint somebody else at that time.
How about I nominate Joe Suture?
I think Joe is,
Hoping for another position.
yeah, hoping
Okay.
for vice chair. Anybody else want to be secretary? And I would point out, well, Belinda, describe what you have to do.
Well, you basically read the minutes. There's a company that does the minutes for us. Make any changes, approve them, sign them at the end of the next meeting. It's not a big deal. Call the roll.
Yeah. So it's not like you gotta take minutes or anything like that.
Well, I think we should just appoint her, and then she does, if we get new board members, we'd make a change. That's how it works. Do work with
That's
what we
fine
got,
with me. That's fine with me.
and make the change
Is that a
later.
nomination?
Yes, sure.
I'll support.
And you're willing to accept that?
Yes.
Okay.
We were gonna give you a choice.
Anybody else for secretary?
It's a rhetorical question.
Any other nominations? Would you take roll call, please?
Joe Suture,
Yes.
Belinda Billings, yes. David Lomar,
Yes.
Bill Scarborough.
Yes.
Sam Morocco.
Yes.
Jason Borsham.
Yes.
Ron Ritchie.
Yes.
And I will nominate Joe Sucher for vice chair.
Second.
Anybody else have a nomination? Belinda, will you do roll call for that one?
Sam Morocco.
Yes.
Bill Scarborough.
Yes.
David Lomar.
Yes.
Belinda Billings, yes. Joe Sucher.
Yes.
Jason Borsham.
Yes.
Ron Ritchie.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item is PC 2025-008. Rezoning, and there's items G2, 3, and 4. 3 rezonings. Megan, you think it would be appropriate for you to address all 3 of them at once?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So you had a memo in your packet outlining what next steps could happen. The planning commission could make a recommendation to the township board, which would approve or deny the rezoning. As an initiator of the rezoning, the planning commission could also withdraw the rezoning request, and also you may postpone the decision again. I have had phone calls from at least 2 individuals at the county who were interested in working with the township on these properties, but also they pointed out that they did not receive a postcard notice about the piece of property that's proposed for rezoning that's not owned by them. Looking into that matter today, I believe that there may be some problems with the notice, so if you were gonna proceed with this, you would have to have another public hearing and redo the notices, because what I believe happened is the respective property owners did not get notice of the proposed rezoning for the properties that were not theirs. Make sense?
Say that one more time.
But the surrounding properties
Surrounding properties.
did,
Everybody within 300 feet did,
except the
but
2 players.
the 2 players didn't get notice of each other's.
So we have to redo the public hearings
We'd have to redo the public notice and redo the hearing.
if we want to move forward.
If you want to go forward.
Is there any
So-
point moving forward or do anything without redoing?
Well, what I would recommend is that you look to postpone.
Is there anything else you want to say about?
Do we have their addresses now?
Yes, we have their addresses now. We have, yeah. So, and just,
Is there anything else you want, like, about
I
the
think-
developers wanting to see if they can work with the township or come up with a plan that might be acceptable
I
to the
think the
township?
county was interested in working with the township and finding a path forward and would like to have some conversations about that.
So I got the feeling at the end of the last meeting that they were you here, David?
That wasn't some, I appreciate you guys screwing it up so I could
See it again?
see it again. Yeah, I did miss
So-
last week.
I felt like they came in like, hey, you guys are trying to, shove this down our throats and
Right.
rezone the property. And I think we were successful in expressing to them kind of what we were hoping for. This has been in the master plan for, over 20 years. It's not a secret what our intentions are. And we shared with them that one of the reasons we were going to this zoning, that it would be a little bit more favorable to work with a multi-use, possibly multi-family, joint venture, PUD setup, assemblage, some kind of, give us more flexibility, so, and I felt like, and I think Megan can concur, that they felt a little better by the end of the meeting, and you could tell that when we started explaining like what our vision was of what potential could go there, they seemed pretty receptive about it.
That came through in the minutes. I get the logic kind of flowed through. I missed the tone though, so I appreciate the
Okay,
the tone of
and so we knew this was gonna be a little bit of an issue, and we did have a conversation of whether we should cancel or not, and I advocated I think it was important that we able to have some dialogue, and if the people are here on watching online, whether they want to involve it or not, because this still is an agenda item, we just aren't going to maybe take action on it, right?
Yeah, and the folks I spoke to at the county today, I spoke again to 2 individuals. Neither of them were able to make it this evening, and so that was another reason that they recognize that you're the applicant, so they don't necessarily need to be here, but they couldn't be here, and respectfully asked if you could postpone.
So long story short, in my opinion, since we're already here already, you know, as I think that, because when I express what we're looking for is not a commercial presence when you get off the expressway, changing the character of the corridor when you come off is very rural in nature still, which we're very lucky for a US highway, anywhere in the country that we've got a rural part. And that, you know, and then set back, you know, after the first parcel, something set back off the road more that would conceal what they're doing with a bigger setback and not destroy the streetscape, you know, and I think that if we can get in a room with them, have some time with them and express what we're doing and get what they think is marketable, you know, I think we can, I feel confident that we can find at least a zoning that could be, you know, turn into something that's a palatable decision, but yet we need some protection from straight up commercial, you know, hanging out there, that we gotta get in another lawsuit over because we didn't express enough that it was inappropriate for that, you know, that we believe it's inappropriate for that area. So if that makes sense, you know, that's kind of how I took away from it, and think that, you know, that's how we should perceive whatever you guys fear, and you know.
Yeah, I gathered that too. I think you sound like you're a little more optimistic than I was. The read I got out of them, I don't think they were anywhere close to being totally okay with rezoning to office, but they clearly expressed an interest to try and work with us for some other ways of possibly developing the property. So I think it makes sense to,
Bill?
yeah.
And this moves us a little bit closer to zoning and the master plan, I assume. And that was the intent, the general intent of the people that put this in the master plan 150 years ago,
Yeah.
or whenever it was.
Whenever.
Quite a while ago anyway. So, and I like the work of continuing to pull the zoning closer to the master plan. And if the zoning is more right, if there is such a word, than the master plan, then the next version of the master plan ought to be changed to reflect the intent of the residents for the use of that property, in general, just.
Agreed. Agreed. Anybody else have any comments? Anybody in the audience have any comments on this? Or online? Anybody online? So, I'm guessing that probably the appropriate thing would to postpone to, this,
Date
post,
uncertain.
to a, do we say a date uncertain, or does that just imply that?
Table.
I just-
Or do we take no action?
I think we want to postpone and reschedule the hearing, which would probably be the motion, right? Postpone this agenda item and schedule a new public hearing.
Well,
Is that correct?
I'm a little concerned about that, because depending on what they come back to us and what we find something that's workable, it might, you tell me if I'm wrong, it could involve a change in
Request.
the request.
For the hearing, okay, so
So you-
regardless, if we're gonna continue to pursue a zoning change, we're gonna need a new public hearing. You're just saying it might be moot if they're, depending on the conversations.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just I gotta get weird. So we just
Right.
postpone today and then see how it pans out as to whether we reschedule those.
You can postpone to a date uncertain, or I would ask that if you wanted to postpone to a certain date, that it at least be 2 months. Because if we need to renotice something or
We just
whatnot-
postpone for up to 2 months, so we make sure we get a date that they can make it then.
Sure.
And what would be the
That's-
channel of communications between us and the county to see if there's a, you know,
Your dues
if
are
there's a
up to date, so-
consensus or not, or, you know.
I think by your next meeting, you'll know whether there's a consensus or not.
Okay, and this is
So-
for all 3 parcels, is what I understand, right?
So the county, just to clarify, the county owns one of those 3 parcels or
Two.
Two of them.
Two.
So the 2 larger parcels are the counties, right? Or no, is it
No,
the
the
first and
larger-
the really small
The
one?
really
the
small
larger
one and the really large one, so the bookends.
Yeah,
And
so-
then the middle one that's split zoned is owned by another party that
Did
the
get those.
county may be willing to work with, but I think, you know, there's just conversations.
So they have an
that
interest
we-
in all 3, right, whether
So
they own it or,
I guess what I'm getting at is, we're gonna have we need to have a meeting with both sets of, both owners, right? Not just the one? Is that what we're saying? We have to notify all three, or both of them again, and then we have to provide an opportunity to meet with both of them?
No, by state law and following the procedures in the zoning ordinance, if you wanted to pursue these 3 rezonings, you would need to call a new public hearing and have it be noticed again properly. So, so that's one. In no way, shape, or form do you have to meet with the county, or do you have to meet with the other property owner. It's just that the county has reached out, and they've indicated that they would like to come to some sort of solution and have some discussions. We haven't had the same communication from the other property owner, but nor have we approached that other property owner at this point.
It would be foolish to do the public hearings without,
Yes.
it just would, this is common sense, right?
Bill?
Well, I think we're not at the, I think that it warrants a delay if we can find a consensus, and if we don't, it doesn't mean that our goals and objectives have changed.
No,
We're just
I agree.
giving we're trying to
Yeah.
not
Good
be,
faith.
so,
I agree.
not to be over, force the issue if we could find a solution that we feel comfortable with. I think it's
100%.
worth the
100%
dialogue,
agree.
you know?
Joe wants to say something.
Megan, because this is part of the earlier conversations, where does that zoning come in? A zoning recommendation from the county that needs to go to the Board of Trustees, and how does that affect our timing, or doesn't it?
Thank you for bringing that up, Planning Commissioner Suture. Also in the
My
conversations with the county today, since these 3 pieces of property are on the township's border and they are owned by the county, they are required to be reviewed by the county zoning coordinating committee. So once you make a recommendation, those go to that committee, then they would give an opinion that goes to the township board along with your recommendation for them to consider when they're making a decision. So just so you know that's a lot of rezonings that you've dealt with haven't had that.
Right.
So
Advisory.
they're the ones who give the official thumbs
No.
up, thumbs down, or they
No.
like it or don't. That their board is going to
No.
do that
No.
to our board.
No, that's
They
only
recommend.
advisory.
It's
No,
a-
I'm saying, but the county zoning board you're discussing
Yes,
submit their recommendations to our
Mhm.
board
right.
as we do. So they're
Mhm.
the mouthpiece of the county.
They represent the county in planning and zoning matters, yes.
Okay, so it's not gonna be just one of the staff that we work with, it's coming from their board that,
Right.
we agree, we
Right.
don't,
Right.
whatever,
But
okay.
Like any committee, they only meet at certain times and whatnot, and it's talking to the planner at Oakland County, who is in charge of them. He said that he accepts those applications for their review via email, so trying to get them on an agenda as quick as possible.
Are we mandated to have that
You're
before we can put it on the township board's agenda? Or
I
is it
would
just
need to double
recommended?
I would need to double check it, but I think so, and I think you have to have that in hand before the township board makes a decision.
Yeah.
Well, there would have to be time limits on it then, so they couldn't drag their feet and prevent us from rezoning. There's gotta be another piece to it.
I can look into that
Possibly, I'm just
further.
asking, cause they could just be like, we're never gonna give you a report. There you go.
So-
There's gotta be some kind of mechanism.
So Megan, a benefit of a tabling, for example, to 2 months is, in 2 months, even if there's nothing to report, it's automatically on the agenda.
Yes.
So that keeps it, it keeps it in front of us. So, okay.
Well,
Is this the same county
update us
board?
anyway.
Is this the same county board that reviews the master plans and stuff too?
Yes.
Probably.
So I mean, we're talking about it's been in the master plan for quite a
Yeah.
while, so, I mean, that
At
should be
least for
positive,
20
so,
years.
yeah.
At least,
They just reviewed it in March or February.
and said
Yeah.
they had no issues,
Yeah.
but they don't have to say anything, I don't think, if they would've said something, but anyway. All right, so you think postponing's the best route
I
to a
do.
date certain?
Up to 2 months. Once you do that.
Okay. Do you have a planning commission date for March? I wouldn't know what it is.
March 10th.
It's the 12th, isn't it?
Do the math.
March 12th?
March 12th, yep.
All right, well, whether or not it's ready to move forward, or we've moved forward by then, or we're not, we're at least, we'll have an idea what's shaking.
So make a motion, please.
I got a question before we make on the motion that's gonna be made. Do you need, just because we've had one at the fall so far in this, if we table it, we have to take it off the table to act on it. It isn't on our agenda. Once you table it, it's gone until you resurrect
Well,
it.
correct your statement, we're postponing it, there's a difference.
Oh, yes, there is a difference between table and postpone, so. And I'm not clear exactly on the total technical differences. I just don't wanna have it screwed up so that we get,
What you've been doing over the past year is postponing, not tabling.
Yeah.
okay.
I've only ever used table, like, to set aside an agenda item and come back to it maybe later in the meeting in the past. That's how I've used it. Untable
Yeah,
it and bring
then
it
you
back.
have to, you're right.
Yeah, so I just say postpone it.
I feel before we make a motion, I feel comfortable at least expressing that I think that there's an importance in, if we meet with the county and have some sort of a consensus, that we reach out to the other property owner and bring them up to speed on what's going, I don't
Mhm.
want him to feel like he's insignificant, cause he's a huge piece to this puzzle. He's the guy in the middle, so if he's
Agreed.
not feeling like he's getting a fair shake, that's not gonna help our goals,
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, I would make a motion to, I think we should do them each individually, right, Megan, or can we
I think you do.
all come up?
They're all the same PC file.
Read all the
aren't
files as one file?
they? They're
It's
all
all
the
the
same
same.
file anyway, 20,
They're different
25
parcels.
oh eight.
They're all under the same file name, so you could table that file name.
Postpone.
Postpone?
I'll move to postpone PC
Yes,
file
postpone.
2025-008, parcel 0819351005 and 0819351006 and 0819351007, requesting rezoning, township initiated rezoning, that we postpone that to a date certain of March 12th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I assume a roll call is okay with that, 'cause it's. Okay, thank you, folks. Next item, PUD zoning ordinance subcommittee. Megan, Joe, and Jason and I met today, and for our first meeting, due to the holiday season, we weren't able to get another one in. We kind of, I think, agreed to dissect the PUD ordinance into, not the actual written ordinance, but the analytical process into a couple of different major categories of purpose, intent. I don't know if I'll get them all right, I didn't bring it with me. Purpose, intent, open space design standards and requirements. I would call it more overall design standards and requirements. Thank you. Eligibility requirements. And, yeah, design, and then, what you might call a density bonus. And, yeah, I mean, there's other areas that are, in the ordinance, like, the approval process and stuff like that, that are a little more rudimentary. But basically, to dissect it into those categories and come up with a summary of major achievements that we want to achieve in each one of those categories, and prepare it for, along with a modification of the PowerPoint presentation we presented, and present that to the board, perhaps at a private meeting, in an attempt to get their support for the overall concept of amending the PUD, and with a general understanding of what we're trying to accomplish, before we put in a lot of time into the detail. Joe, Jason, you got anything to add?
Perfect.
Megan? So we're gonna meet again in 2 weeks, and try and maybe keep that routine every 2 weeks until we have something to bring back to the planning commission for review and then to the board. Comments? Questions?
Sounds like the plan.
Okay. Next item is the 2025 annual report. I put it together as I did last year. In my mind, it's pretty cut and dry. It kind of follows the same format as last year. I'm looking for two things from the planning commission. Any corrections, changes, additions, whatever, particularly in the last page, the goals, or second to the last page. And then a motion to approve this for presentation to the board. Anybody got any questions or comments on it?
I was gonna comment, I thought this was really nicely done, because you get kind of a stream of things, so it's nice to see kind of totaled up everything that the planning commission looked at last year. I was, under one of the 26 goals, it had, have PC members participate in more training.
Yes.
I was just gonna mention, it's kind of vague, do we wanna call something out there specifically that we're looking for, or certification, or at least, I just looking at going, that's kind of vague, it's a good,
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
attribute, but it's not really a goal, like if it's have everybody certified or go to
Is there
two
anybody
trainings.
on the board who's not certified as a citizen planner through the Michigan State Extension Program?
Honestly, I'd have to look back to see if mine's still good from years ago.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
It
they
does
do?
expire.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
On
we've
mine.
already looked into it.
It's been a thorough background search.
Yeah. You didn't just
Also, we
happen
saw
to
that
come up here.
misdemeanor.
They
Yeah.
couldn't even find the records on mine because
Yeah.
they had a flood or something, it got destroyed, but she did find some reference somewhere that I had it.
You tell them that was poor planning on their part.
Yeah.
So, I just like to be, I think it should be, all the goals should be, have like some metric to them, like what do we wanna do?
There's a lot of, in the past, back in the days, in the old days doing it, the county really, I think, has a lot of, they have a ton of classes that we can, go to. And I think that, maybe we should, find out what they are and what the schedules are and, go as a, few people at a time or whatever. It used to always be 3 or 4 of us would go over down to whatever the new building is across from the 1200 building, and they put on, and they do. We had them from the brick industry and roofing industries and architectural, they have
Paving,
so
roads.
much, stuff to go do.
And
And
the
I think
mission-
if we become comfortable just doing it, like we should make a commitment that we attend 2 of them a year or 3 of,
That's what I was looking for.
a year,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Achievement,
saying?
maybe it's
That would be our goals, that each member attends 2 or 3 of those seminars or.
The Michigan Association of Planning has a lot too, and a lot of theirs are online.
Yeah, and you're Michigan Association of Planning members, so you would have the discounted member rate for anything
Yeah.
where it's a paid, where it requires a fee.
Yeah.
Also, other communities that I've worked with, have had an hour requirement for anyone who already has the certification for citizen planner. Typically, it's about 4 or 5 hours a year.
So you relate that to kind of classes or so maybe we have something like achieve citizen planner status if not already,
That's in the bylaws.
that's in the bylaw, okay,
Yeah.
good. Or, in this case, maybe, participate in at least 2 continuing education classes. It could be online or in attendance or
Right.
however we want to do it, or it could be a conference. you know, if we wanna do something like that.
The in-person ones, when we did the greenways plan for the township, and you're all standing over maps around a table, and, you know, it's a lot different experience than online, obviously, and we were creating it specifically for our community.
So either collectively or
There's
individually.
kind of single ways. Now, one thing I would say is if we ever did revisit our master plan, or our bylaws for the planning commission, when that was added to the bylaws, that you couldn't be reappointed without having your citizen planner's certification, that was kind of a big deal, but now on, you know, in hindsight, having 3 years to do it is too long. Like, if we have the bylaws, we should say like within, I mean, it's an online course you could do over a
It's not that
weekend, you know,
hard.
it should be like
I thought
within,
it was changed within 1 year of being appointed.
I don't know that we ever formally changed the
know we
bylaws
talked about
about,
that.
I know you couldn't be originally the bylaws were you couldn't be reappointed if you didn't do it, and maybe
But we talked about changing it
There
to
was-
doing it within the
there
first
was a
year.
couple of years that I was removed, so maybe something got tweaked then, but if we could look into that, cause that should be like within, you know, 120 days or 90 days if it's just that.
I remember
I'm-
talking about that before, that's why I thought
My
it got
memory
changed to
is
1 year.
it's, they either have it, need to have it or be actively pursuing it. That's
I
my
think
memory.
that's what it says.
A lot of bylaws are.
But it,
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well, we
think there
don't,
should be a number of days,
yeah, you
because
should just have to acquire it, not
Yeah.
actively pursue it. That
Yeah.
doesn't. But just having that added when we did it was a big deal, to be
Right.
like, okay, we gotta start being a little more conscious about knowing what we're
Is-
talking
is-
about.
Is everybody okay with the 2 classes per year?
I think
yeah.
that's.
I didn't mean take us in a ditch, I just thought more specificity was good,
I think
Say a
that's
minimum of 2 classes per year.
Okay?
and a master's degree.
Yeah.
Anybody,
Doctorate.
Or 2 bachelors.
Two bachelors.
Two bachelor's counts.
anybody got anything else? Any other goals? Okay.
I guess I just have a question then.
Yeah.
This 2 classes per year, whatever, what is it being updated into the bylaws, and when are we gonna do that? Or is this just a comment?
This would just be goals for 2026, the way you've written it.
Oh, it's a
Our
goal.
own committee goals.
So if you
Okay.
didn't, you just wouldn't meet the goals.
Gotcha.
We wouldn't kick you off
Yeah.
for that reason.
You have to buy at the bar.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Like,
Okay, somebody, please make a
do we
motion.
need a motion to
Yeah.
accept those?
Sam?
Before, you mean before we adjourn?
No, to approve this.
Oh.
And for submission to the board.
Okay, well, make a motion to accept, what are we calling this document?
Annual report.
The annual report as presented by Chairman Scarborough, and suggest that he share it with the township board.
Support?
Do we say as amended with the educational
Yes, you should.
requirements?
As amended with the educational requirements of requiring a minimum, our goals to be 2 classes per year per person.
2+ classes, yeah, minimum. Okay.
2 class minimum.
Minimum of 2.
Anyone
Support.
accept that amendment to my motion?
Yep.
Yep.
Jason did.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On the same subject, I would just like Sam's advice. Last year, I actually made a presentation to the board because it was the first time it was ever done. I don't know that I need to do that. My own personal thoughts is I would be present to accept questions, but I'd be curious on your input on how it should be presented to the board.
Is
As
it
a-
gonna be just like
I
this document
mean,
right
we-
here, or is it
Yeah,
gonna be?
it's gonna be this document. I mean, I think on the board member, there's presentation sections and.
There's presentations in the beginning that it could be read into the, just read this document, or do you wanna just share it with them, and if they have questions, talk about it, cause then that would be a report at the end, like the fireman's report and the future agenda items and police report, it would go at the end that we get, that we don't discuss, but it's updates us on what everybody's up to at the end of our agenda, it's listed at the bottom.
Those things kind of go, I mean, I do want to have.
They go
the-
unnoticed because
Yeah.
they're not there to be discussed, so if you want it to be mentioned, then it would be a quick, summary of
What-
our goals and objectives,
what
you
do you
know, and
think?
we could do it under presentation, it doesn't need to be an agenda item.
Let's
And
do
if
it
you want me
that
to
way.
do that, I
You'll
could
do
put
May
that
for
on
that?
there for
Yeah.
you, sure.
Does that sound good to you, Chuck? Yeah. Okay. Okay, thanks. Next item, administrative approvals, that was a result of our discussion last month to have this on the agenda every month so we could get an idea of how frequently they're being done, and if they're being done, what do they consist of? And in the last month, there's been none, so.
Glad it's on there.
Yeah, we kind of agreed to specifically put it on there and say none, because, so we would know.
We'll see if the Planet Car Wash gets any approvals.
So next time, approval of the minutes. I just was gonna make a comment, there was, so the person that does the minutes sends them to Belinda and me shortly after the meeting so we can review them. There were some changes that I recommended, and I did it in red ink, and some of them are still reflected, small words in red ink, so but that's not all the changes I recommended, the rest of them were done. So if anybody wondered why there was red ink in it, that's why.
I printed black and white, so.
Okay.
Pick up on that.
So anybody else got any changes to the minutes?
No.
Corrections? Okay, how about a motion?
Make a motion to accept the regular minutes of December 12th, 2024 as presented.
Support.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Consultants report. Anything further, Megan?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Discussion. Anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss? Belinda?
Yes, I'd like to read a statement. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
It has been my privilege to serve on this planning commission board for the past 2 years. My term ended 12/31/25. I don't know if I will be reappointed or if Supervisor File will replace me, as I have not received any type of notification in that regard. Supervisor File is here tonight at this meeting. I just want to say that I believe at least 50% of Independence Township population is female. I bring a unique perspective to this board as a female. My outlook, knowledge, and experience may be different from that of my male counterparts on this board because of my real estate background, but I see that as an asset to the community. If Supervisor File elects to replace me, I would just encourage him to consider another female commissioner, because I believe 50% of the population deserves to be represented by at least one female on this planning commission. Thank you to this board, and I appreciate the friendships and collaboration for the past 2 years.
Thank you. I thank you for your time and your effort, and I would also make this promise to you that your passion over stormwater management and stuff like that was heard. I think it's a valid point. I think it is a crisis that municipalities are going to be faced with because HOAs are not properly maintaining stormwater management. And it would be my intent, at least for the next year as chair, to continue to try and do something, put things in place to further safeguard that process.
I think that's great.
Anybody else?
Bill, I think your point is valid. I mean, I'm experiencing the same thing in my HOA, is that they have contractual obligations in my deed because I have a retention pond in my backyard, and they're ignoring it, totally ignoring it.
Yeah.
You know, we got a bid to fix it. First year was $7,000. They started to fix it, didn't finish it. They were gonna do it the next year, then the president changed and whatnot. They delayed it for another year. They got another bid, $11,000. You know, they just, well, first of all, they can't even afford it. And, so I don't know what's gonna happen, you know, one day. I think the easements, and this I'm not sure of, Megan, I think that if you have certain kinds of easements and they're not maintained and they're contractually obligated to maintain them, but they're not for 3 years, the easement can go away. It gets
Not a
into
land
some-
use lawyer, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it gets really mushy, so when we get into this, you know, we need to tread carefully,
Yeah.
because I don't know whose toes are gonna get stepped on, and then, you know, we don't particularly, I guess, Dave, want the township to just absorb the cost of all of these kinds of things. It's not the township's responsibility, to my knowledge,
Not at all.
but yet, it may need to have to be done. You know, by whom, I don't know, that's not the point. It may need to have to be done because streets are flooding and blah, 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 and blah, whatever the negative things are of not paying attention to stormwater management. And so, yeah, it's a concern, and this solution is not
Well,
sitting in front of us at the moment.
I would say that regardless of what happens, no one knows what's gonna happen, future's the
Right.
future, you know, but that, I have no doubt that Belinda's gonna be involved in our evolution of stormwater management practices in any capacity, so, no doubt.
Anybody else? Okay, how about a motion to adjourn at 6:40?
So moved.
Second.
Second? Who said? Ron supported. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, folks. Short- That's a.